jazz.
November 2nd, 2007. A day that graced humanity. A particular film was released on that specific day, which fundamentally changed the course of history. Dare I say, this film changed humanity's perspective on the world itself. And this film was called Bee Movie. Prior to the Bee Movie, Dreamworks has had a mixed reputation in the films they release. Sure, Dreamworks has released some truly amazing films, but they are also capable of releasing common trash. Thankfully, the planets aligned and this was the right conditions for Dreamworks to make their magnum opus, Bee Movie. Now, let's dig into this masterpiece.
I can't believe I'm out!
Bee Movie has a lot of characters, however I'm only going to talk about 2 characters. And first up is Barry B. Benson. Barry has an incredibly complex character arc. This character arc is simply superb. Throughout the film, Barry represents the proletariat in this highly industrialized bee society. Barry does the unthinkable and questions the meaning behind a bee's life. Prior to Barry's enlightenment, all a bee does is work, 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 rest. This is a never-ending cycle for bees. Barry over here is unhappy about this cycle. Barry's conflict is thought-provoking and relatable, especially with the whole questioning one's purpose in life. Barry is also voiced by the marvelous Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry's performance as Barry is top-notch. He delivers his lines with perfection. Jerry encapsulates Barry's character so well to the point that Jerry and Barry are the same person. I'd say this is easily Jerry Seinfeld's best performance in a film, period. Next up is Leighton T. Montgomery. This lad represents the bourgeoisie, the capitalist, or some may call him the man. The film did a great job in presenting the danger that Mr. Montgomery poses on the bees. He's a big man with big plans. His plot to exploit bees for cheap labor makes him an excellent antagonist for Barry. Every scene that Mr. Montgomery appeared in was spectacular. Words can't describe the greatness of the scenes that included an appearance by Mr. Montgomery. Too bad Mr. Montgomery wasn't in the film that long. I would have much rather saw this lad over the boring plane scene at the end of the film. But he's voiced by the same guy who voiced Sully in Monsters Inc. So, I guess it's okay. Anyways, I can talk about the other characters from the film. But these characters were kind of boring and forgettable to be quite honest. So, I rather ignore them. Animation is a crucial part in an animated movie, and I can safely say that the Bee Movie does an excellent job in this department. The animation for each character looks quite smooth. I also like the flying motion for the bee characters. It really mimics that of a real-life bee. The human character's motion looks solid as well. Given how Bee Movie had a budget of $150 million, I'm not surprised that the animators put in a lot of effort into the film's animation. I am glad that the animators put in a lot of work to bring this masterpiece to life. Regarding Bee Movie's aesthetics, it's simply cinematic. The film aesthetics greatly complements the deep and complex plot of Bee Movie. The animators were smart to include bright colors in the film's color palette. This was done to deceive the audience in thinking this is a standard kids film. However, it's further from the truth. Also, I like all of the bees' designs including the ones I don't remember the names of. Except, Barry's hair looks too detailed. For some reason, Barry's hair bugs me. However, Barry's powerful character arc makes up for the nuisance that is his hair. All in all, the film fires in all cylinders regarding the animation and aesthetics. So yeah.
Make honey, pollinate flowers, and dress like this.
Prior to watching Bee Movie, I've heard many things about this film. Some said this film was simply a masterpiece. Then, I looked at the critics' reviews of the film. The critics weren't as impressed with Bee Movie. So, I took it upon myself to fully immerse myself in this film. And after I finished watching the film, I was a changed man. Bee Movie has such a deep and thought-provoking plot that it enlightens anyone who sees this film. I love how the film explores the inner struggles of the working class. For instance, after Barry discovers that humans have been consuming honey for the longest time, he travels to honey farms to discover where the grocery store receives their share of honey. And upon reaching this place, Barry witnesses the exploitation that honeybees endure by those vile, no good, repulsive, corrupt, loathsome humans. And after Barry sees how the bee race are treated like slaves, he makes a bold move. He sues the human race. The court scene that follows is exquisite. I won't get into why the court scene is great because I would spend an hour talking about the greatness of this scene. Moving on, after winning the court case and exposing the corruption of the honey industry, honey is outlawed, and the bees are able to retain their sacred honey. However, without honey to produce, employment for bees drops to zero. The whole social structure of bees collapses, as there is no honey to produce. Sure, bees are happy that they don't have to work anymore and their rights for retaining honey is restored. But it creates a sense of worthlessness. This particular dilemma is quite deep and honestly shocking for a kids' film to explore the concept of economic decline and the feeling of worthlessness. Sadly, the end of the film is kind of boring. The whole plot about flowers dying out and whatnot was kind of boring. It's a shame though because the rest of the film was a masterpiece no doubt. The writers should have done a better job in crafting the finale for Bee Movie.
Bees are funny. If we didn't laugh, we'd cry with what we have to do.
After analyzing and thinking about the film, I've come to the conclusion for Bee Movie's rating. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give this film a solid 9 out of 10. Most of the film's characters and ending scene really box down the film from reaching a 10. But Bee Movie is still a superb film, whether it be the film's plot, protagonist, antagonist, and message. All of these aspects elevate the film into one of Dreamworks' greatest works. Bee Movie is one of those films for the ages, and I would highly recommend this film.